In this session, we apply all 7 standardized quality tools to 2 real public sector case studies in procurement and finance.
A public hospital network is just hemorrhaging money. They're overspending their budget on critical medical supplies by a staggering 22%. Now, this isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. This means wasted resources, it means running out of vital supplies, and it means frantic last-minute orders. The stakes here are incredibly high. And this is not some isolated incident. In a totally different world, a major infrastructure program is staring down a very similar mystery, an 18% average budget overrun. So you've got 2 different organizations in 2 completely different fields, but they're seeing the exact same symptom, these chronic, out-of-control costs. So,
2 crime scenes. On the left, we've got a public hospital network that's just bleeding money, a 22% budget overrun, constantly running out of critical supplies. On the right, a massive infrastructure program with its own 18% overrun, leaking cash and getting flagged by auditors over and over. Both of these systems are stuck in a state of, well, chronic chaos.
But here's the thing about chaos. It always leaves clues. And to find those clues, you need the right tools. We're not guessing here. We're using a proven, data-driven method called the 7 basic quality tools. Just think of it as the complete detective's kit for any problem solver out there.
And here is our arsenal. We're going to start by gathering clues with a check sheet, then use a Pareto chart to zero in on our prime suspects. From there, other tools will help us analyze patterns and map out the whole process, leading us right to the root cause. And finally, the control chart? That's what proves our case is officially solved. Each tool has a very specific job, and trust me, when they work together, it's a real game changer.
Every single good investigation starts with the exact same question. What is actually happening? Before we jump to any theories, before we have any hunches, we have to get to the scene and collect the hard evidence. It's time to follow the data trail.
Our first tool is the check sheet. And honestly, it's as simple as it sounds. It's the detective's notepad, a structured way to log every incident and just count how often different problems are happening. No opinions, no assumptions, just the raw, cold, hard facts.
So, in our healthcare case, after just 3 months of collecting data, one problem just jumps off the page. Emergency orders happen 62 times. That's way more than anything else. This isn't just a clue. It's a big, flashing neon sign pointing us where to look next.
But we've got to be sure we're chasing the right suspect. And that's where the Pareto chart comes in. You might have heard of it as the 80-20 rule. It helps us separate the vital few, the small number of problems causing most of the pain, from the trivial many. It tells us exactly where to focus our energy to get the biggest bang for our buck.
And look at this thing in action. In our finance case, just 3 issues, scope changes, rework, and price escalation, were responsible for over 70% of the entire budget problem. Think about that. We just narrowed down a huge, complicated mess to 3 prime suspects.
So we have our suspects lined up. Now the real detective work begins. We need to understand their behavior. Are there hidden patterns? Are some of these clues connected in ways we can't see on the surface? It's time to put the data in the interrogation room.
So we bring out 2 more tools. On the left, a histogram for the healthcare case. It shows a really troubling pattern. Yeah, most orders take about 10 to 14 days, but look at that long tail of delay stretching all the way out to 25 days. That's a problem. Now on the right, for the finance case, we use a scatter diagram, and we have a smoking gun. A direct, positive correlation. The more scope changes a project has, the higher the cost overrun. It's not a theory anymore. It's a fact, right there in the data.
Okay, so we know what is happening. We've seen the patterns. But now we have to ask the single most important question in any investigation. Why? We have to get past the symptoms to find the true root cause, the real whodunit of this whole mystery.
To find the why, you first have to map out the how. This is a flowchart of the hospital's procurement process. And by visualizing every single step, the team could immediately see where things were breaking down. The slow, manual approvals and the lag time in updating the inventory system were creating these massive bottlenecks. The whole system was getting jammed up.
But a bottleneck is still just a symptom, right? Why do those manual approvals take so long in the first place? Why isn't the system getting updated faster? We have to dig one level deeper to really get to the source of the problem. And for this, we pull out the investigator's ultimate brainstorming tool, the Fishbone diagram. It helps us map out all the potential causes of a problem, organizing them into categories. It's a structured way to think so that we don't accidentally miss the real culprit hiding in plain sight.
And using that fishbone diagram, both teams had their big aha moment. For the hospital, the root cause wasn't just slow approvals, it was the fact they had no safety stock policy, which forced them into this constant reactive cycle. And for the finance program, it was inadequate scope definition right from the very beginning. These weren't just problems, they were the masterminds behind all the chaos.
Now, identifying the root cause is the climax of our story, but it's not over yet. Now comes the final act. We have to implement the fix. And this is crucial. We have to prove that it actually worked. This is the move from chaos to control.
And the results are, well, they're stunning. By putting in a new safety stock policy and automating approvals, the hospital saw a 40% reduction in emergency purchases. And get this, not in a year, but in just 2 months. The finance case is just as dramatic. By strengthening their initial scope definition and their change control process, they slashed their average budget overruns from a painful 18% all the way down to 7%, and they did it in only 2 quarters.
But how do you know the fix is going to stick? How do you stop the old problems from just creeping back in over time? Well, that is the job of our final tool, the control chart. It monitors the process to prove the new system isn't just better, it's stable.
The control chart really is the final piece of evidence. It's the proof that shows the wild, unpredictable swings are gone, replaced by a stable, predictable process that stays where it's supposed to. The chaos has been tamed. Case closed.
So, to quickly recap the whole investigation, we gathered clues with the check sheet and Pareto chart. We found the root cause with the flowchart and the fishbone diagram. And finally, we proved the fix was permanent with the control chart. It's a logical, step-by-step process that just works.
And the big takeaway here is this.
The 7 tools are so much more than just charts. They represent a mindset, a structured way of thinking that gives anyone the power to cut through the noise, find the facts, and turn a huge, messy, complex problem into something that is clear and solvable.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for disciplined insights in strategy, quality, and governance.